First of all, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and hope that you enjoyed your holiday. I know that you have a long weekend and you probably have a lot of homework to do, so I wanted to try and get this up as early as possible. I know it's Friday morning, but there is a lot to look at with relation to this project. And I know it's been a long time since we've actually done a video, but that is changing, so getting reused to watching them is important. So the first thing we're going to look at is a Prezi that I've put together that I will share on Edmodo as well, and the Prezi covers the aspects of the independent reading project. I will also share 2 documents on Edmodo as well. I will make a separate folder that's labeled independent reading and project, and I will put in those documents and the Prezi and anything else that we end up needing to go along with the presentation and the project. So keeping that in mind, that is where you will find everything. So first of all, the premise of the project is that you are going to read a biography or an autobiography. Biography is about somebody, written by somebody else. Autobiography is written by themselves. So most of the ones you're actually going to see are biographies, but a couple of them are autobiographies. And the idea is that you will be presenting this information in a creative manner to the class. You saw the book list. I have the book list also that I will post on Edmodo, like I said. You will have 6 weeks to read it. Each book is between 200 to 350 pages. So that should easily be doable, especially since you have Christmas vacation as well. You need to have half of it done before we go to Christmas vacation because you will have an assignment due before then, and you will have the final part due when we come back from Christmas vacation. So like this, what it says here is you'll have to complete several aspects of a report and a project that are due at varied due dates. There are 2 different sets of due dates, so paying attention to those is important because they are parts of your grade, and part of it does affect 2nd quarter and part of it affects 3rd quarter. Okay, so after we pick books, and we will pick books in class on Tuesday, I highly suggest that you look at the book list and follow what the book list says at top by picking 5 books and being prepared with your list, because we will pick randomly on Tuesday, and once a book is taken, it's gone. So keeping that in mind is important. Okay, so once you have a book and you purchase the book or find the PDF, I don't care which aspect you do, you will be writing what we call critical reading journals. So this will take the place of your 2nd blog. We will still be having news blogs, but this will take the place up until January of that 2nd blog. This will not be done on the blog site though. Instead, it will be done on turnin.com. And it will be due by 11:59 on the specified due dates. The due dates are actually on the next slide. Even if you finish the novel early, you still have to write at least 6 journal entries. So the idea is that you'll have 3 due for the first date and you'll have 3 due for the 2nd date. Since this is a journal, the language can be informal, but must be in complete sentences, and the topics and the rest of the instructions are listed on a separate document. That document is this document that I'm actually going to post on Edmodo as well, and it goes over the specifications, the idea that it typed in MLA formats. Each entry, all 3 entries that are due at that date must be on the same document, so you're only putting 1 MLA heading on it. Each entry must be 200 words. And there's a way you do your title and topics specifications here, and then you have a list of topics to pick from. You have to do 3 each time, so you're doing a total of 6. You can pick a topic twice, but you can't do the same aspect of the topic twice. So if you want to do like pick a quote twice, it has to be 2 different quotes. If you want to do imagery and symbolism twice, it has to be 2 different sets of imagery and symbolism. Obviously some of them can't be done twice, and that's title because there's only 1 title to the book, but it can't be done more than once per set of 3. So you can do pick a quote for the first set of 3, and then for the next set of 3 you can do pick another quote. But the same document will be up on Edmodo so that you can see this as well. Okay, coming back here. Okay, The due dates. The first due date is December 20th. That's 3 weeks after you have been assigned the book. So in essence, this is one entry per week. My thought to you is that you should not wait until the last week to do all 3 entries, or that last weekend. This is the weekend before finals, or before midterms. Midterms start the next day. So it is important that you actually complete this earlier, so that you don't have as much to do. Considering each entry is a minimum of 200 words, that should help you on that aspect. But I would highly suggest that you take the book that as you're reading it, and you break it into sixths. So every sixth of the book you get done. So like the first sixth, you sit down and write an entry. The second sixth, sit down and write another entry. When you get to the halfway point, write your third entry. Turn them in. They are all due by the 20th. I do not want them all done the first week you get the book. I want you to spread it out a little, as long as the idea is that they do not all cover the same part of the book. I've read the majority of the books, and I will be, if there are books that are picked that I haven't read, I will be reading them along with you, so that I will be able to know your knowledge and everything like that as well. The second due date is January 10th of 2016, and that's your last 3 entries. So over Christmas vacation, you are finishing the book and you are writing your last 3 entries. And each one is worth 30 points. So this December deadline is part of second quarter, and the January deadline is part of third quarter. So keeping that in mind, the dates belong to different quarters, and there's really no way to make up this first one when grades are actually due the next day for the second quarter. So I will be grading these rather quickly. Okay. The project itself. So over Christmas vacation, you will be completing a project that you will be presenting to the class. The project is a creative aspect. On the next slide, you'll actually have 3 project types that you'll be picking from, and they're completely different, but it's your chance to pick something that allows you to be creative. This is not a PowerPoint or a Prezi that you're showing to the class that has certain slides and things like that. But your project does need to include these aspects in some fashion. Again, being creative with them. So you need a speaker, both the idea of who the book is about and who the narrator is, because these could be different. You need the rest of the soaps. I'm putting speaker separate because I don't want you to think of speaker as just the narrator or just the author, but the idea here of who the book is actually about, because that can be different, especially if it's a biography versus an autobiography. Discussing the theme. There's a reason they wrote this book, or that they're writing it about that particular person. So picking that up. Main events that actually lead to that theme. And then the author, if it is different from the story, from who the story is about, is important. Okay, different projects. These, like I said, are vastly different. So you're picking one of these 3. You have 3 options. On the next slide, I will discuss the actual presentation. So first one, you can make a board game. This board game should show the varied aspects of the novel that you've read. So it should include things like the soaps to the theme, and the characters, main events, all of that type of stuff. It can be modeled from an original game, it can be an original game, or it can be modeled after a game that already exists. So if you want to do like a Trivial Pursuit style, or a Monopoly style, or something like that, but it needs to be your game. By playing this board game and looking at this board game, I should be able to tell that you have an in-depth knowledge of the book. The game must include instructions, and it must include playing pieces. If you're playing something that needs a board, you need to obviously make a board and turn in that board. The next one is a scrapbook. So for the person that the book is about, you must make a scrapbook about that character or person. It needs to be at least 15 pages in length. It should include pictures, designs. Have fun with it. You can go buy a scrapbook and actually decorate pages and print out pictures and do titles and all of that type of stuff. And if you actually look at scrapbook layouts in Google search for images, you'll find tons of ideas. Maybe a page on their career, a page on their wedding, a page on their family, those types of things, a page that they traveled to. But the book, the novel, should guide you on what types of pages to pick. Something I'm doing a little differently this year is the idea that you can do it digitally if you want. So if you want to do it in Photoshop, or if you want to do it in a magazine program, there's one that the school uses, and it's just escaping my memory at the moment, but when I remember, I will tell you as a class. But it's a free place to be able to post magazine style things that you can actually email out to the class and to me, and we can actually see it. So you could build a scrapbook that way, and that can be done in Illustrator or in Photoshop and uploaded to that. Or the last one, for those of you who like video projects, you can make a video. It can be a little movie. It needs to be at least 5 minutes in length. You can have others help you, but it's showing off the book, getting others to want to read it. If you want to do a news desk style, or a book review, or an interview a character, or acting like you're interviewing the person, and like a talk show type thing, you can. The video project, actually all of these projects are very open to interpretation. So you can definitely think of something completely different and outside the box with it, but having fun with it at the same time. So not only are you reading something, but you're learning how to interpret it and analyze it at the same time. So the last aspect is the presentation. Presentations will start on Monday, January 11th. That is the first day we come back. The order will be randomly selected. We have the randomizer, so we will use that. Presentations will last 3 to 7 minutes in length. You cannot go over 7 minutes. The video should be at least 5 minutes. So if you're doing the video project, you'll easily fit into the 7-minute mark. And that's the only reason why I did 7. If you're doing a board game and a scrapbook, obviously your project's going to probably be at the lower end of the timetable itself, and time is taken into consideration with your project. If it is a video project, you're showing the video to the class on that day. So emailing it to me or bringing it on a flash drive is important. The project itself is worth 30 points. The presentation is 10. The timing is 10. So as long as you hit 3 to 7 minutes, you're perfect on the timing and will get full points. And this is 50 points. So not only do you have the 2 sets of journal entries, which are each worth 30 points, you also have a 50-point project. So that's 110 points between all 3 aspects. Like I said, look at the documents, look at the list of books, and on Tuesday, be prepared with at least 5 or an order of 5, because some of the books will go pretty quickly, especially with how you were talking in class on Wednesday when you saw the list. There are several that are kind of hot commodities on there, so keeping that in mind is important. I hope you have a wonderful rest of Thanksgiving weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday. And if you have any questions, always please let me know. Thank you.